Hi guys, welcome to our first video of Unit 5. It's going to be photosynthesis. So you already know the deal. Take the green clip, pin it to the computer, and let's begin. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the purpose of photosynthesis. Why does photosynthesis even need to occur in this world? Well, it needs to occur because the plants need food. If the plants don't have food, the plants don't live. And if the plants don't live, what don't we get from them? Oxygen. And do we need oxygen? Yeah. So that is the whole purpose of photosynthesis, to take the sunlight and convert the water and carbon dioxide into glucose and oxygen. So right here, these are the equations. So you have the numerical equation, meaning you have the numbers in there, and then you have the equation in words. So write this down, and I'll be right with you to teach you the rap I got. Y'all ready? Give me a beat. 6 CO2, 6 H2O, sunlight always coming through the door. C6H12O6 and 6O2. Hey! Alright, so what does that even mean? So 6 CO2, right? So you can think about carbon dioxide coming in. That's the air, right? That's why I got my hands like this. That's the air coming in to the plant. So they need carbon dioxide. H2O, I do my hands coming up like it's coming up from the roots. Sunlight, right? This is the sun rays. Sunlight. And then always coming through the dough. And then I'm doing this like I'm holding an apple, because the apple has a lot of glucose, and C6H12O6 is the formula for glucose. So I'm holding like I'm eating an apple. C6H12O6, and now we're about to release oxygen in 6O2 because you're releasing oxygen. So let's try that. Ready? 6 CO2, 6 H2O, sunlight always coming through that up. C6H12O6 and 6O2. Hey, you got it! You got it! Now practice that. Get it to memory, because you're gonna need to know how to write it for your exit ticket today. All right, so you know the deal. Go ahead and take the yellow pen, put it into the top of your computer, because you're going to answer your first CFU question. What is the equation in numerical form for photosynthesis? Go ahead and pause the video, write it down, and begin. All right, awesome. Hopefully you answered that right. And now we're going to go ahead on to our guided notes section. Continue with it. All right, so photosynthesis, where does it even occur? Well, photosynthesis occurs in the chloroplast, which is this thing right here, okay? The chloroplast is usually found in the leaves of the plant, and the chloroplast is where your glucose, or C6H12O6, is made. Glucose is a large compound that contains carbon, which is a high energy sugar. Because, like, think about the sunlight. It's taking that solar energy and it's storing all that solar energy into this glucose. So glucose is ultimately like, it's almost like a Pokemon ball, but you haven't unleashed the Pokemon yet. It's just all this energy, all this capability, this possibility inside of the Pokemon ball. So this all happens in the chloroplast. I want you don't have to draw it because I gave you a half sheet with this picture. Go ahead and label these parts of the chloroplast on your paper now. So, who uses photosynthesis? That's a good question. But I'm sure you already know the answer. It is the autotrophs. And autotrophs are organisms that make their own food from the sun. So remember how we said autotrophs automatically make their own food? Yeah, well, autotrophs use photosynthesis. All right, now, another CFU question. Are you ready? Are you ready? Go ahead and take the yellow pen, pin it to the computer, and let's go. Question number 2. Where does photosynthesis occur? Pause the video and answer on your half sheet now. Question 2. 3. What is label A of the chloroplast right there? Just the one little cookie. All right, go ahead and answer. Right. Question 4. What is label B of the chloroplast called? So it's that little empty space there. All right. Yeah, you think you got it? All right. So now we're on our back to our guided notes. So let's go ahead and begin. Now, here's what I want you to know for sure. Let me move this so you can really see me, because this is important. The sun does not just magically hit the chloroplast and glucose is made. That's like saying that there's instant cake. Like I could just take the mix, pour it in a bowl with some egg and milk, and poof, the cake is just going to be baked and ready. Doesn't work that way. There are steps to making a cake. There are steps to making glucose, which is, again, the food for the plant. So there are two stages in photosynthesis. You have light dependent, which is also known as light reactions. Please write both names down because your test is going to use both of the names interchangeably. And then you have light independent reactions, aka the Calvin cycle. So I want you to think about it like this. If it's light dependent, does it need light? Absolutely. It needs sunlight. That's why we call it light reactions, because it's reactions that happen in the light. So think about this person who's dependent on their friend, right? And then you have the friend independent, which, like, you see Future, he like sip his tea, you know? Light independent meaning you don't need light. And we also call that the Calvin cycle. So think like Calvin doesn't need light. All right, so here's a diagram of these two cycles. So this is our chloroplast, and we know because we see this this granum, which is the whole stack of the cookies. We see the thylakoid, right? So this right here is the light reactions or light dependent because it needs light, as we can see here. And then there's the Calvin cycle, which is light independent. So it does not need light. As we can see, there's no light here. So go ahead, and I believe you have this diagram. If it's not labeled, go ahead and label it now. But pause it and let's go. So let's go ahead and compare these two diagrams. So I want you to make sure you copy down this entire table because you need to know this. There's going to be a good 7 to 8 questions on your test just about this stuff. So don't be a fool. Copy it down, commit it to memory. So let's start here. Light dependent, meaning it needs light. What's another name for it? Light reactions, because the reactions happen in light. This occurs in the thylakoids, and it makes oxygen. As you notice, this arrow is showing what is being made or what is being produced or pushed out, and it's oxygen. Now, isn't that funny that it makes oxygen, and oxygen is one of the products for photosynthesis? Remember, 6CO2, 6H2O, sunlight always coming through the door. C6H12O6 is the product, and 6O2. So you're making that oxygen, and this is how we end up getting it because of light-dependent reaction. Now, and light-independent reaction, it occurs in the Calvin cycle. It happens in the stroma, and it makes glucose. So think about like how Calvin needs sugar. He needs glucose. So he makes it, right? So Calvin cycle, light independent, it happens in the stroma. And like stroma, Roma, room, I don't know, but it might help you. And of course, it makes sugar or glucose because Calvin needs glucose because it has all that high energy from the sunlight. Okay, I'm done. All right, so one last thing I want you to know. Let me move me so you can, there we go. Okay, NADP, right here. NADP is an electron carrier molecule, meaning that it helps to carry electrons that are left over in the process of the Calvin cycle. So, over to the Calvin cycle, sorry. So if you look right here, we see that in light reactions, it's pointing an arrow out as if it's taking those electrons from light reactions and giving it to the NADP, and they're going to help carry the electrons to the Calvin cycle, so ultimately it can make glucose or your sugar, because Calvin makes sugar. That is everything that you need to know. I'm going to ask you a couple more CFU questions and begin. All right, question number 5. Where does light reactions occur? And what is produced in this reaction? Pause the video and answer now. I'm back. Okay. Question number 6 and the last question. Where does the Calvin cycle occur? And what is produced in this reaction? Go ahead and pause and answer the video now. And yeah. So now you have made it to the end of the practice. Yay! So hopefully you did this video in your 20-minute to 25-minute cap. I want you to go ahead and remove that CFU pen. I want you to put this red pen so I know that you're on the independent practice. And I want you to go ahead and put your computer at 45 degrees. Look at this section right here. And make sure you practice for that IP because you will be having an exit ticket over this soon. I love you. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember that rap. 6 CO2, 6 H2O, sunlight always coming through the door. C6H12O6 and 6O2. Bye.